All right. We are back.
Yep.
Can you hear us? Okay, and hopefully we are live now. Can you hear? Can you hear?
Yeah, I can
There
hear
we
you
go. Okay.
now. You hit
All
that
right.
button,
We're
so.
back and hopefully we are live now. I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out. We'll see. Oh, they can hear us now. Yay. All right, Shaun. So
Okay, finally, we get, this is, I know it sounds like
it sounds like we're really unprofessional.
we're like, we didn't get high before we got here, I
I
promise.
promise we did not do
I had this
that.
rule where I try not to drink during the weekdays, and especially not during the workday. So, yeah, I promise you, it can be
It's
kind of
just new.
complicated.
It's just new.
I got respect for Clay and Chip and well, not Kim because Kim doesn't know how to do it either.
Kim can focus
Jameson.
Kim can focus on what he's actually saying instead of worrying about.
Oh God, that's not good for anyone. If we can focus on that, I mean,
Oh goodness.
don't need that.
I think we have it figured out now. I
Awesome.
think hopefully there won't be any more technical
Thanks, Clay, for fixing us up. I appreciate that. All right. So again, we were crapping all over Chokeway. I don't know if we've done that. I think we've done that enough.
Have we done that enough? Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jackson's in a crap pile, and we all know it. Please get out and vote against this man.
Against him.
Do what you want to do.
It looks like the best bet is going to be John Horn to be able to take him on, and I'll make a prediction that I think it's going to end up being a runoff between John Horn and Chokeway, but we shall see. Yeah, I said this yesterday, but Chokeway really is a good public speaker, and he really can engage with an audience, and he throws out that race baiting and fires people up. So
yeah, he's like the black Gavin Newsom. He kind of is.
Yeah, I said that yesterday. And, I think that's the best comparison.
Yep.
Who is it? Everyone says he looks like Drake, but he's like looks like Drake, acts like Gavin Newsom. So beware
of them there. So anyway, and also again, before I forget, I know we said earlier, but everybody's listening now. Jake Wyndham is running for re-election. He deserves it. I don't know his opponent's name because nobody knows his opponent's name. I think he's going to win. Hate it for the other guy, and and our buddy Fred Shanks, I think, should be the next mayor of Brandon. Hope he wins. And good luck to him today.
Good luck to him. I know he's out there politicking it up. So hope the people are getting out and voting. And then, of course, there's Jackson. And then if you're lucky, you have a mayor who runs a city like Mayor Mary does. And then you don't have to worry about someone like Chokeway coming in and messing it all up. But, yeah, there are some other big elections in Florida and Wisconsin mainly today, I think, are probably the most contested. And the Democrat Party has poured some kind of money into one of these congressional races over in Congress. I mean, over in Florida.
Over in Congress.
Congressional race in Florida.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that, Shaun?
Yeah, sure. There's a congressional race to replace Mike Waltz of the infamous Signal Chat scandal that happened last week.
There was no classified information, Shaun.
Yes, that's whatever. Like I know, it's just common for the government to put out military strike plans. But anyway, that's not. But so Mike Waltz now is the national security advisor for the Trump administration. Seat in Florida is up for grabs. I bet he wishes he could go back to it right now, but
I imagine so.
So anyway, so it's between Josh Wheel, who is the Democratic candidate, and Randy Fine, who's the Republican candidate. Now, this is a district that Donald Trump won by 30 points in 2024. Huge. So, I mean, you got to think like Democrats are not going to be competitive in a Trump plus 30 district. I mean, it's crazy.
You would think, right? You would think.
Right. And so what happened? But apparently the polling is showing something different. Now, I think Randy Fine, who again is a Republican candidate, is going to win.
Yeah.
And he probably is going to win kind of comfortably. They're saying something like +9.
But probably not anywhere close to 30 points.
No, it's not going to be. But his fundraising differential is what's most interesting.
It's crazy.
Fine's raised about $937,000. Josh Wheel has got $9.7 million. So, I mean, it's like a 10-to-1 advantage. And so it's amazing. The Democrats are really trying to make a statement there to see if they can cut into that +30 Trump number. So that'll be an interesting one to watch.
Well, tonight. It's so important because they want the numbers in the House right now are so close, and they want to be able to take back the House sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, so like if you're going to watch that congressional race tonight, if you're a dork, hopefully you got something better to do.
This is what we'll be doing. We'll be watching numbers coming in
and the mayor races, but. If you see that number going below 10 points, the Democrats are considering that a victory for them. So we'll see what happens there. It's going to be an interesting one to watch. I think that the polls, it's in the Eastern Standard Time, so
Yeah.
polls will close earlier, and you'll be able to watch that
And
relatively soon. And then
the Elise.
well, Elise Stefanik is not up for. She is not. She was
Right.
named the UN ambassador, but Trump got her to withdraw her name. She represents a district in New York State, and the thought process was that they couldn't afford to lose her seat, but she's in a plus 20 Trump district. So it's amazing that they're concerned there. When I was reading about it, was that they felt that the Democrats actually had a chance there to take that seat, where they're probably not going to take this Florida seat, but they were concerned about it, even in a plus 20 Trump district. So they withdrew her, and she is now.
And that's got to be disappointing. You get so excited that the president has nominated you for something such as to be an ambassador to the UN, and then it kind of gets pulled away from you. And I remember saying this back when Trump was naming appointments. I was kind of thinking, what are you doing? Like, you've got to quit pulling our House seats, because we're going to end up giving the House back to the Democrats if you don't stop.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think when you're, just like with Mike Waltz, I mean, he's in a plus 30 Trump district. So if I'm the president, I'm thinking, well, that's a pretty safe seat. I mean, you kind of be like, Michael Guest's seat. Like, I mean, if you pulled him to be whatever, I don't think you're worried about a Democrat taking that seat. And
I don't even remember a Democrat's name that's run against Michael Guest.
I think that guy that Clay had on, Shawaski Young, ran against him.
Oh, did he run against him?
But yeah, but I'm saying, so Democrats never going to take that seat. So if you're the president, you're like, oh, well, that's a safe seat. Well, seems like not so in Stefanik's district. Now, again, I think today Randy Fine will probably win, most likely, but by much lesser margin. But you can tell they're concerned about it as a Stefanik, even though it's a plus 20 district. But I can see why they picked her, because they're like, hey, it's a plus 20 district. Republicans going to replace her. It's not a big problem. I mean, it's not some big contested. And that's the thing about our congressional races these days, Lindsey. It's like there's not a whole lot of like swing districts like there once was. There used to be a lot of swing districts, especially in the Rust Belt. Those things can go back and forth, but and then in Texas to a certain degree. So. But that doesn't exist as much because the country's so polarized now, one way or the other. So
yeah,
I mean, and a district that's Republican is usually going to stay Republican. District that's Democratic is certainly going to stay Democratic. Yeah. Now you saw a little difference. I mean, in 2022 in the New York state races, there were some Biden districts that went Republican.
Well, and the Trump election that he just won. I mean, we saw some districts that voted for Trump, but elected a Democrat senator.
Yep.
Which was strange, but we did see that happen.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with like candidate quality as well, and people don't miss that point because we get so stuck in our partisan boxes. A good example of that would be the Arizona race, where you're talking about Kerry Lake and Ruben Gallego. Gallego was he's a Mexican American. He was a Marine Corps war veteran, good candidate quality, and Trump obviously won Arizona. But Gallego won the Senate seat because he was just a better candidate overall than Kerry Lake, who had kind of, I think people got Kerry Lake fatigue. And so Gallego was able to win that. But, so I think that you see that, you saw it in 2020 or the beginning of 21 with the races in Georgia. I mean, you have, somebody like Herschel Walker looked like a lunatic. I mean, a Republican could have won that and should have won that seat, but they didn't, because you have somebody like, Herschel Walker, and then you also in Pennsylvania the same year you had what's his name, Dr. Oz, who didn't even live really in Pennsylvania.
And I mean, at that point, Fetterman really couldn't form a sentence.
Yeah,
and
Fetterman couldn't even talk. And he's become great though. Like, I really like John Fetterman. He's a good.
He still voted to keep men and women's sports.
I know that's your issue.
It's my issue
because you've encountered the men in dresses a lot. So
you keep saying that, but this is a big deal.
You've seen one dude in a dress. I've been with you when you saw this one dude in a dress.
That was Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm convinced.
He did look like Mrs. Doubtfire, but that's the only time you've seen one in your life.
No, that's not true at all.
Okay, there's another time you've seen a dude in a dress in person.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, where?
In Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia. You've never except that night we were at Fond Republic is the only time you saw a dude in a dress. See, everybody's heard it here. That's the only time.
No, but I have seen
pictures.
They're in school, in Madison County schools.
Wait, the dudes in dresses are in Madison County schools?
There are trans students. Yes, absolutely.
Are they in a dress or?
I don't know if they wear dresses to school or not, but they are clearly trans.
I'm just curious, are they in the dress or not?
All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll see if we have time to jump into the Wisconsin Supreme Court race when we get back. Stay with us, WYAB 103.9. And we are back here on Crossing the Aisle on WYAB. Yeah, so we only have a few minutes left, but we were going to talk a little bit about the race in Wisconsin that's pretty contested. And it's actually a Supreme Court race. And those are nonpartisan, but basically there's a Republican candidate or a conservative candidate and a Democrat candidate, much like we had here in Mississippi with Jim Kitchens and Jennifer Branning. So Elon has poured a ton of money into that race. Shaun, tell us about why Elon is so invested there.
I don't really know why he personally is,
Well,
but
I think it has a lot to do with Tesla because they just passed a law where he could like sell to ship direct to customers, consumers.
okay, in Wisconsin.
Yes.
That's okay. Well, I mean, he's dumped a ton of money into it. I just figured it was because it was kind of a bellwether, what you would call an election, and he's been supremely interested in it. But he's been out there campaigning in Wisconsin. The problem for Elon, whereas Trump, is approval ratings are about pretty steady. Elon's are like in the tank. Like the entire public kind of hates him.
I told you
now.
last night he should have sent his money and stayed home.
Yeah, he
like
really
work
needs
from
to.
behind the scenes there.
I saw some numbers like he's in the 30s or something. Like people just don't like him now, and so I think he should have stayed home. And but he's put some money into this, and the race is a dead heat. It's interesting to me though that like this is how like in the weeds we all get about politics. We're like the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, like, and what they don't think about is this is how ridiculous I think this to me is. What they don't think about is the average voter, like Bubba, sitting on his couch, is like, well, I wonder which one's the liberal, conservative Supreme Court. They don't even know the Supreme Court justices' names. And like, you're turning this into like, this is like a bellwether, whether Trump's doing good or whether he's not doing good. Yeah. I don't think it tells us that at all.
No.
Like whether people like Trump or they don't like Trump. I think it's a Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. Like,
but I do think when we see the numbers of people who actually get out and vote, of registered voters, that it will tell us something.
I mean, now the congressional race in Florida, maybe a little bit more because it's a partisan race. It's directly partisan. You can tell who's Republican or Democrat. But I think like in a Supreme Court race, most people, and because you follow the Jennifer Branning and Jim Kitchens race pretty closely. Yeah, uh-huh. I mean, most people don't know a lot about the Supreme Court.
They don't. And I did love that about Jennifer, that she tried to educate wherever she went about what they do, what their job is. And because most people don't know. You're right. They don't.
Yeah, I just don't think they're going to get motivated, whether they I don't think it tells us whether people think the Trump administration is doing good or not. Now, I think if you're going to see a Virginia governor's race later this year, that may tell you that. I think if the special elections could kind of be a bellwether to that too. But I just have a hard time believing that a Wisconsin Supreme Court race is the thing that's going to tell us. Now, is it going to tell us which bases are motivated? Yeah.
And with that being a swing state, that kind of became, everyone kind of thought that state was going to be the deciding factor in the presidential race, and it was one that was, very, very tight.
Sure. But I mean, and I think, look, it's going to show you, like, are the liberals really motivated right now? I mean, and I think it'll show you that maybe a little bit. But
we got 10 seconds. Tell people where to find us.
Come to the Crossing the Aisle Facebook page on YouTube, and you can find us there, or you can reach me at onetextlaw.com. That's onetextlaw.com. And
we'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.
See ya.